Good morning, everybody. It is Patty here. We have all seen this on YouTube by now. President Trump with with two hands drinking a glass of water. And let's play part of it. This is all symbology. Sorry. Oops. Right down to the purple tie. All right, there we have the two-handed drink and the purple tie. All right, and that purple tie he was wearing was a symbol of the Purple Revolution. You can see over here Bill Clinton wearing a purple tie, Hillary, purple. Purple is the color of George Soros' vile political operations. Soros-style street protests and political disruption, anti-Trump street art and political graffiti, anti-Trump movement, Soros-funded political groups, propaganda war, anti-Trump press and broadcasters, undermine public confidence in the Trump administration. From the outset, their agenda is to create chaos and anarchy to destroy the United States. All right, so in this article, let me scroll it up to the top. Hang on. Oh. Hold on. And this is from the website whatdoesitmean.com. December 17th, 2017. America warned is unprepared for Trump's cataclysmic destruction of deep state. A gravely worded new Security Council report circulating in the Kremlin today is warning that the American people are mentally unprepared for President Trump's soon expected cataclysmic destruction of his deep state enemies. Hallelujah! Whose shadow government operatives are now in total panic after forces loyal to Trump discovered they're having stolen a staggering $21 trillion from the U.S. Treasury in a mass scheme first devised by the Clinton regime in 1998, and whose amount exceeds the entire United States national debt of $20 trillion. The Deep State Network. Okay. According to this report, over the past year, the American people have been fed a steady diet of fake news propaganda by their deep state-aligned mainstream media, alleging that President Trump had colluded with Russia to win his election. And that resulted in the appointment of former FBI Director Robert Mueller as a special counsel to investigate the facts of, and who spent on his investigation a paltry $3.2 million and another $3.5 million having been spent separately on this investigation by the U.S. Department of Justice in support of Mueller. On December 9th, this report continues. The Security Council confirmed that Special Counsel Mueller's investigation was nothing more than an elaborate ruse meant to insulate known Obama-Clinton deep state operatives from being able to further damage President Trump. See our report, Russia-China shaken to the very core as Trump moves in for the deep state kill shot. Now let's go back to this. Okay? Okay, aside from the purple tie, which I explained, the two hands holding up the cup are symbols as well. and that's the symbol of God has delivered you into my hands. So this whole video, people have been saying that, all of that. He's telling the American people that the end of George Soros is near. Okay, so Russia, China, shaken to the very core as Trump moves in for deep state kill shot, and whose 2 indictments and 2 guilty pleas obtained so far are so riddled with U.S. constitutional violations, their certainty of being thrown out of court is 100%. To understand how Special Counsel Mueller deliberately corrupted his own investigation, this report explains. One needs first to understand a critical American legal term called fruit of the poisonous tree, which is a doctrine that extends the exclusionary rule to make evidence inadmissible in court if it was derived from evidence that was illegally obtained, with the exclusionary rule preventing Mueller from using any evidence gathered in violation of the United States Constitution. To how Special Counsel Mueller used the fruit of the poisonous tree in his investigation, this report details, was in violating the Presidential Transition Act of 1963, and as noted by President Trump's attorney in his 16 December demand letter to U.S. Congress about this gross violation of the U.S. Constitution, and he wrote, Dear Senators and Representatives, I write on behalf of Trump for America Incorporated, also known as the Presidential Transition Team, for the following purposes: to inform the committees of unlawful conduct that undermines the Presidential Transition Act of 1963 as amended and will impair the ability of future presidential transition teams to candidly discuss policy and internal matters that benefit the country as a whole. Okay, I'm going to post this link so you can read it, but I just want to go down here. Okay. Alright, well, while Special Counsel Mueller has been shredding the U.S. Constitution at every turn of his sham investigation using his paltry budget, though this report says at the exact same time the most important and consequential investigation currently being kept from the American people by their mainstream deep state-aligned propaganda media is one being conducted by Inspector General Michael Horowitz, who heads the Office of the Inspector General, overseeing its over 500 hold on. Wow, sorry about that. I have the winter cold coming to an end. So, where was I? December 2nd, 2017, for immediate release. The Department of Justice Office of the Inspector General released the following statement in response to inquiries today. The January 2017 statement issued by the Department of Justice Office of the Inspector General announcing its review of allegations regarding various actions of the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation in advance of the 2016 election stated that OIG review would, among other things, consider whether certain underlying investigative decisions were based on improper considerations, and that we also would include issues that might arise during the course of the review. The OIG has been reviewing allegations involving communications between certain individuals and will report its findings regarding those allegations promptly upon completion of the review of them. In Inspector General Horowitz's 2nd December public statement, this report continues. The most critical words of his to note was his stating that the investigation would include issues that might arise during the course of the review, and that most certainly include the Obama-Clinton crimes surrounding the Uranium One scandal, and that shocking new revelations show the FBI knew about it at the time. Even more terrifying to the deep state about Inspector General Horowitz's investigation, though this report details, has been the cooperation with renowned Michigan State University economics professor expert Mark Skidmore, Ph.D., and the equally renowned Catherine Austin Fitts in uncovering deep state economic crimes, with Fitts having known President Trump since their classmate days at Wharton School, being the publisher of the highly influential Solari Report, her supporting Trump for president, but who also in early 2016 grimly warned that the pyramid of lies surrounding the entire U.S. government was ready to implode, and who stated, "So, are the criminals running the U.S. government? Yes. The American government is running the central banking welfare model globally, and it depends heavily on criminal profits." If you look at the general population supports that. The general population supports that as long as they can pretend they don't have responsibility for that. There are millions of Americans getting paid to put a pretty face to it. The party with the debt growth model is over, and that means the party is over for a lot of people who are unproductive.
Well, if you live in the United States.
Far from these deep state crimes against the American people being a pretty face, though, this report further details. Dr. Mark Skidmore and Catherine Austin Fitts, in their mind-shattering research paper titled DOD and HUD Missing Money, Supporting Documentation, documented how over $21 trillion had been stolen from the Department of Defense and the Department of Housing and Urban Development. But with OIG Inspector General Horowitz having to aid them in keeping alive the U.S. government links proving this fact, as deep state operatives were continually trying to destroy them. And as Dr. Skidmore and Fitts described in the 12th December update. Subsequent to the publication of Dr. Skidmore's report, the Office of Inspector General at the Department of Defense and the Department of Housing and Urban Development took reports offline. Consequently, our primary links in the table below are to the same documents posted on our website. We have preserved the original DoD and HUD links in the footnotes. If they result in a 404 error or not found message, this indicates they were taken down or moved subsequent to publication. On October 5, 2017, we discovered that the link to report Army General Fund adjustments not adequately documented or supported had been disabled. Within several days, the links to other OIG documents we identified in our search were also disabled. The sequential non-random nature of this disabling process suggests a purposeful decision on the part of OIG to make key documents available to the public via the website, as opposed to website reorganization, etc. We also revisited the website intermittently to see whether the documents had been reposted under different URLs. Until very recently, they had not been reposted. On December 11, 2017, we learned that the key documents had been reposted on the OIG website, but with different URLs. Documents now appear to be reposted on new URLs. As we find the new URL, we are adding them in the footnotes entitled New Link next to the original link. Upon President Trump's receiving Dr. Mark Skidmore's and Catherine Austin Fitts' mind-shattering research paper documenting deep state theft, over $21 trillion from the American people, the report continues, he immediately unleashed over 1,400 investigating auditors on the Pentagon to conduct the first ever in history audit of this massive war-making machine. However, this report says, as Catherine Austin Fitts had detailed, these deep state criminals operate using central banking warfare model. These shadow government entities of President Trump were quick to retaliate against him by illegally setting up secret bases in Syria, where they are now training ISIS terrorists to reignite war. With a UK-based independent weapons research organization called Conflict Armament Research, also shockingly detailing how the CIA had been providing weapons to ISIS all throughout the years of this conflict. And ISIS, you want to know what that means? Israel Intelligence Service. Yep, ISIS is the Israel Intelligence Service. With Russia having announced on December 7th that ISIS was defeated in Syria, and 2 days later, on December 9th, Iraq announcing that ISIS had been defeated in their nation too. This report explains the deep state-aligned mainstream propaganda media has yet to inform the American people of this fact, and is due to their knowing that Russia will soon attack and destroy these illegal CIA bases training barbaric ISIS terrorists before they can use any more horrors, thus igniting a global war that these deep state monsters believe they need in order to survive. Secret Pentagon report reveals U.S. created ISIS, yes, they did, as a tool to overthrow Syria's President Assad. A declassified secret U.S. government document obtained by the public interest law firm Judicial Watch shows that Western governments deliberately allied with Al-Qaeda and other Islamist extremist groups to topple Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Just like the CIA-funded Al-Qaeda had been used as a facade by the U.S. to achieve its own geopolitical and national interests over the past two decades, ISIS is nothing more than Al-Qaeda 2.0. As to how close President Trump's cataclysmic destruction of the deep state is, this report continues. Can be seen in the growing Clinton body count that is mostly common known as Arkancide, and denotes the mysterious deaths of witnesses to the crimes of former President Bill Clinton and his wife Hillary, and whose latest victims are the Canadian pharmaceutical billionaire Barry Sherman and his wife Honey, both of whom were scheduled to be interviewed by OIG Inspector General Horowitz investigators this week about the Clinton crimes in Haiti, and whose death came just days after another Horowitz witness named Dr. Dean Lawrence was likewise mysteriously killed before he could testify about the Clinton crimes in Haiti, and all of whom now join former Haitian official Klaus Oberwein, who was another witness to Clinton's crimes in Haiti, suicided this past July, just prior to his testifying too. Though President Trump has been preparing American people for the takedown of the deep state by first publicly exposing their perverted sex lives and new revelations to come being warned will rock the nation this coming week, this report concludes. Security Council intelligence analysts note that the Obama-Clinton supporting search giant Google is now using its immense power to censor content, to include the shocking sexual predatory evidence against leftist MSNBC host Chris Matthews, and that result of will be these people not knowing the full truth as to why Trump is jailing so many former top Obama-Clinton officials, and that will undoubtedly lead to the full-scale George Soros-led Purple Revolution in America erupting and that the Clinton signal had begun the very day Hillary Clinton gave her speech acknowledging Trump had won, but has been undermining with her deep state allies ever since. All right. So is he signaling the end of George Soros here? The double hand in the water, the purple tie? I would say so. So I've been hoping and praying that President Trump would be doing this. I wasn't sure at first, and to be honest, I'm still not quite convinced, but it looks like the end of George Soros is near. Public enemy number one. Hallelujah. Another piece of shit. All right, everybody. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day. I love you. Ta-ta.